Yo, does it level? Yeah, microphone is leveling. We had been not sure if all our peripherals would work today, but they do. It is late night and it is Trading Tuesday. We are actually way too tired to move virtual spacebox, but it is most likely confirmed that the next patch will be on Thursday. That means in 2 days. And we have no idea if we have tomorrow time to move the rest of our boxes. So we already moved some boxes up to arbitrary. Yeah, we are at arbitrary. We are below 90 mil. And that is not a good sign, because we should be somewhere at 93 mil, something like that. It means we miss 6 mil. And it might be that they are on Shepherd's Rest, of course, and arbitrary. So our first step will be going down to Shepherd's Rest, take as much as we can up to arbitrary. Yeah, so there is a couple of interesting stuff happening here. We got a redeemer. Did you see that? We have a redeemer available, and we have no idea why. It might be that the redeemer is a loaner. Oh, god damn it! It's a loaner of the paladin. Oh no, that could be loaner matrix. Sorry. Loaner ship matrix. We need to have a check on that, because we prefer to have a short list, a short fleet list. Paladin. Yeah. It is really like that. The Redeemer, we have the Redeemer because of the Paladin. Oh no. So as you can see, we need to scroll once here at the ASUS terminal. And then with the ground vehicles and the poles and whatnot, we have a little bit more to scroll when we are inside the hangar. But we want to, it's basically too late, we want to keep that at least as short as possible. So if you design your ship fleet, think about it. Think about it, how many ships you need to have in order to be satisfied enough to play Star Citizen. Yeah, so we have too much, and we kinda gotta say, we wouldn't care if there would be a full wipe. We would lose the 100 mil, which we worked hard for. But we want to shorten the ship list. That would be cool. There is some sort of a bug. Some say it is a bug, some say it's a feature. We don't really care, but we lost ships through patch drops. And CIG statement is, now you need to have it stored properly, and then you don't lose. But it might be that you still lose, because in some Star Citizen Live, I guess, they talked about it, how that can happen technically. but even the explanation they give, how it still can happen, that you can lose even in-game ships, let us basically know how weak the system is built. And so they cannot afford making player losing pledged ships because of the legal fictions. The legal what is it, setback? Not really. The legal complications CIG or Rubber Space Industries, for that matter, would face if they do not deliver the pledged ships would be not game breaking, it would be project breaking. Yeah, they cannot afford to have legal implications, complications. And it might be that a lot of players or whales or backers or whatever label you want to put on their foreheads spent money into this project, and so many of them spent so much money that they got the confirmation, yes, we can do that, and people will spend more money. And that would be the one aspect. The other aspect would be it worked. We got enough money to continue 1 year more or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. We should have checked the ship loaner matrix before we pledge another ship. This is a learned lesson from our previous 2 videos we made about the 3 new ships out there. Before we pledge a ship, check the loaner first. Because when it comes to the Liberator, it is, or it was, the loaner matrix that even made us thinking about the Liberator. That was red. Ship was red. Did we touch anything? An Atlas laying sideways. See that before. Yeah. And we got 2 new subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for watching. That would be basically the confirmation that we published something that has value. And it's not just random rambling like we often do. Yeah, when you look at this building right in front of us with the shopping terminals inside, and you see the sun behind that, that is sunrise. All the way around would be sunset. What does that tell us about us? Yeah, we spend too much time here. And when we have a look, yeah, that is what we... So we have some boxes. The fresh food is the problem here. Fresh food is the problem. And the problem regarding they don't fit into the concept. If we only would have these smaller boxes, it might be possible that we fill up something like 320 SEUs into the ASCII. And when we have a look here, 60, 60, 60, that is 180 plus 10, plus the boxes that we already have at the obituary, the small ones, yeah, not the fresh food. Then it could be possible that we will fit all the boxes, these boxes here, plus the boxes up at the obituary, and bring it to Stanton. Then we would have a lot of boxes sold, but we need to come back for the fresh food. And that is not good, because it is already late night and we need to get out of bed tomorrow somewhat early. Damn! Oh, hit the head. Ooh, that hurt. You see our health? Oh no. Nobody saw us. Alright, so we bring up the smaller boxes and we leave the fresh... Oh no. No. Yeah. SG Harlos, the guy, Sacks of Wine from SG Harlos, mentioned that the deprecation of the PU right before a patch drop is not because the patch drop is coming up. No, It is because they turn on PTU servers on the same servers like the PU. Yeah, that is the reason why PU has such problems every time when PTU comes out for all backers, because the PTU seems to be on the same servers like the PU. And you can then imagine, like, you have physical servers, hardware, and you have some sort of a hypervisor, virtual servers upon that physical server. And so that's why we say server on servers. The PTU servers are on the same servers like the PU servers. Docker. Nowadays, it would be probably Docker. And that seems to be a reasonable explanation. I think that looks good. So we come over here. That is the first time using another elevator. Yeah, when you play Star Citizen for too long, you do not realize how slow you walk, because the only one thing that you see or are aware is, yeah, if you walk from A to B, that takes time. Look at that beautiful sunrise. Yeah, with the ASUS card always interaction delay massively again. With the ASUS card always lower the ramp while you are it doesn't work. Interaction delay massively. Oh, this is gonna be a pain. Open the ramp as long as you are in the ship. Yeah, don't open the ramp when you're outside of the ship. Especially not when the ship is loaded. It's not loaded yet. Yeah, so you maybe noticed that we actually pledged the Paladin with the idea of doing more orc stuff. And imagine that we are so not the orc type. Orc type IRL, orc type in-game, nowhere. We love to be independent, self-sufficient, self-sustained, whatnot. I mean, we are totally aware that we need to have these elevators, we need to have that commodity cycle and all that aspect that we can here. But oh God. We have a friend, Goose. We met him few weeks ago, not that long actually. And he was one of these kind of players that show up once, helping you with moving boxes. We pay them well, because yeah, new players are young and need the money, and we have no problem with spending money regarding of paying basically them for their effort, because their effort, even when they are new players, helps us to be a little bit more efficient, faster, and not doing it alone. And that not doing it alone aspect is also that organizational aspect. But these type of people doing hauling, explicitly hauling, not trading. The hauling guys are a certain type of people, and these type of people are PvEers. That means they do not like to have interaction with other players. Yeah, this is a highly generalized thought. yeah, consider it that. Because we are the same ones. Yeah, we do not do hauling, not contracts, but we like to do moving the boxes. Because while doing the moving the boxes is some sort of meditative. Most of the time, meditative. It is just a process that we know how it works, yeah. But the interesting part is to find out new routes, of course, but the actual action to do it, it is some sort of meditative. And when you had a long, hard working day, and you want to turn off a little bit or slow down, or not sure what you want to say, then you have options, yeah. You can go doing sport. That would be one thing, definitely better than what we do. You can go into some sort of a communal activity, sports, clubs, community membership, whatnot. Or you can swing your ass on the couch in front of the television and watch some nonsense stuff that they broadcast. Or play video games, yeah? And we do neither of them. We play Star Citizen. And that's why we... Yeah, because that is one thing that what we like and love about Star Citizen. The variety of activity you can do in this virtual realm. And we figured moving boxes is the thing that we like to do. And it's not even the money aspect. Of course, at the end we want to have some money, more than we started out, but it is some sort of meditative. That's why we still doing boxes. And we had been in the PTU because we wanted to have a look on the Paladin, and we made a short video. The video itself not, but we recorded some stuff. And of course we wanted to find out, can we use the Paladin for moving boxes? And we already can say no, you cannot. The cargo grid is 4 SCUs. That means 1 SCUs and 2 SCUs, and that's it, the grid. Yeah, but it's always the off-grid capabilities, and you can fit easily 40 not. Definitely easy, 20 SCUs you can fit into the Paladin, and we would bet you can fit 40 SCUs in total into the Paladin. But that is not something that you do. You do not do that, no. Because it's not meant to be. And that is probably the very first ship that we would say, no, there is another ship. Is there another ship? Yeah, the Wolf is another ship. The Wolf is the ship we basically only... Did we see pixel of an incoming ship? No. We need to clean the screen. The Wolf we pledged for LTIs, and not because we wanted to have it, but we've flown quite some time with the Wolf, and we kind of like the Wolf meanwhile. Imagine that, we even did some, what was it, mercenary bounty hunting contracts, yeah, PvE, with the Wolf, and we actually managed to complete the combat. Dogfighting with the Wolf. We wouldn't say that it was fun, but we had been successfully. Yeah, and the Paladin is another ship, completely other ship. It's definitely not designed for moving boxes. It doesn't even have the capability to actually moving boxes. Yeah, we just noticed we got, what do we got? So somebody was commenting our video. Oh, was it the video? No, I think it was the shorts, YouTube shorts. One commented, the Meridian paint on the Stinger is garbage. We have no doubt. Someone else commented on the same shorts, Batwing. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Batwing stuff. That is cool. I'm not sure if that is some sort of subconsciously, because we had the same thought. It looks cool. The Stinger looks really cool. And we heard some sound examples, and even the sound examples sounds awesome. Oh god damn it, we made another mistake. Ah, again. Yeah, this is something what we need to learn when we do clean the houses. It's not only taking out the boxes of the inventory, we need to take care about the boxes itself. Because now we have the problem that we have a mixed bag in our ship. And if we want to make some profit, we would make sure, or we should have made sure, that we bring the right box to the right destination. And now we have a mixed bag. We do not know. Besides the sunset berries, we have no idea what boxes we have where. Damn it. Yeah, that is another thing. I mean, it looks relaxed, and it somehow is relaxed, moving virtual space boxes. But if you are not focused, concentrated enough, you do mistakes. So what we always say, and it is, Star Citizen is somewhat of a simulator. And even in game, yeah, especially online games like MMOs, the players transfer something of them into the game. And it doesn't matter if you are a pirate, a griefer, or whatnot. Your game style is an aspect of you. That what makes you. And even if you are a hardcore killer inside a video game, that also is an aspect of you. And it is not necessarily the killing as the killing, it's much more the turning off, shutting down, make it incapacitated. If you have the skill to kill inside a game, that tells, this is speculative of course, that means you would be some sort of a die-hard businessman that could walk over corpse to get the goal. And most of the PvEers, and here we talk about ourselves, when we move virtual space boxes, we are some sort of softies, yeah? And that is a disclaimer. We talk about ourselves. It doesn't mean that we talk about someone else or for someone else. Some sort of softies. We prefer what people would call harmony. We would prefer to have no conflicts, probably. We would have preferred to have a collaborative gameplay with other players rather than competitive gameplays with others. And what we can say is those guys that are already in our crew, the No Man's crew, we fit together. That doesn't mean everybody is the same like we are, some sort of softies taking Star Citizen too serious or too invested into this project mentally and or money wise. We need to fly directly. That's a stupid mistake we made here. Yeah, and so when we talk about org stuff, organization stuff, then we do not talk about box moving. Then we talk the game stuff. The one thing that we don't do. We do not play video games. We play Star Citizen. And what we can say is last weekend we did the second time Align and Mine. The very first time was a happy accident, and last time it was some sort of prepared and organized from an other organization we are participating every now and then. And that made us thinking, how is that gonna work? Because we spent from, let's say, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That is a 12-hour session. For that org, with that org, did stuff and all that. And at the end, we didn't get paid, money-wise. We didn't get anything out of it, out of the org activity. And the only one reason why we did that is because we had time. Yeah, we mentally closed our moving box stuff for this patch, and that's why we always think, okay, when we do not move boxes, what else do we do? And so it became handy to do this game stuff inside Star Citizen, org stuff even. And we didn't really care about not being or not get paid. Yeah, we didn't really care about not getting paid for that activity what we did. But what we did is, yeah, Align and Mine, we spent a lot of time there, and you do mining and you do a lot. Do we have enough capacity for 7? 1, 2, 4. We could bring the fresh food with us. Yeah, we spend a lot of time there, and we mined these all these gems Wicklow wants to. And whenever we go to Wicklow and having a check on what could we do, yeah, then we always say, oh no, we cannot do that because we need to go Align and Mine. And that's why we don't do it. That's why we cannot go to Wicklow, because we don't do Align and Mine. But we did, and now we have, let's say, a better idea of what is involved in Align and Mine. And so we thought, okay, wait, when this organization does that, and all members didn't get paid, although we have to say we are not really part of the organization. We step in by. Here we can say Goose is the connection. Goose introduced us to the organization. They welcomed us. We spent some time and did some little small activities, and every now and then we have a talk on Discord, and that's basically that is how we are connected to that org. And so it might be that that's the reason why we didn't get paid, if you want to. But if you are a regular member of the organization, what motivation do have all these members in the organization to participate in organization activities? They need to get something out of it. Whatever that is, they need to get something out of it. Otherwise, and you would lie if you tell me otherwise, there is no reason to participate into an organization. You spend your time. You spend your time in this online realm to supposedly play a video game, and then you are a part of an organization and you do everything what the organization wants you to do, and at the end you want to have something out of it. Either you want to have money enough, in-game money, to buy another ship, because most players have some sort of a starter ship, and they don't want to stick on a starter ship forever. They want to grind as well and want to make enough money to buy a ship in-game at least. And of course you can say, yeah, Wicklow gives you also ships. And you can lose Wicklow ships the same way like you can lose in-game ships. And when we look at the effort it takes to get a Wicklow ship, then we would say, no, we prefer moving boxes, because when moving boxes we also have the tool, the instrument for regaining that money again. Like you saw before, we have almost 90 mil. We could rebuy the M2 3 times, but we don't. But we have the tool, the instrument to make that money again. And that is what we are still doing, moving boxes. But when you do align and mine, I bet you can do align and mine all by yourself. But the implication is, one aspect, there are so many NPCs you need to take out. There is so many aspects you need to cover in order to complete the mission. And the players, when you do align and mine all yourself, you need to expect that there will be a moment somebody will show up and make you harder, make your life harder. And then either you participate or open up for everybody to come in and do your deeds. Everybody's on his own, but it will be a fair play, means everybody who is coming can go in there and do mining. It is a no competitive activity, it is together. That was our very first experience with Align and Mine. It wasn't competitive. It was collaborative. Everybody was there, did mining, and from all the players had been down there at that very moment, none of them are miners. That works, but the moments, the chance that you actually will have that experience of a random group forming itself for one particular goal without any pre-organized agreement, that happens very rarely. Yeah, and so we thought, okay, we did that group activity last weekend, and I thought, why you hold us back in doing this regular stuff, getting fancy guns and maybe fancy ships and whatnot, especially the account bound stuff, that would be really interesting. Why not doing that? And the only one reason why we don't do it is because our org is not organized enough to do that some sort of an activity. We need to have a player base that is more or less... What are we doing here? We are moving... Do we need to? No, we go straight to standing. Gateway. Yeah, we are completely on autopilot when it comes to moving boxes. Yeah, our org is not organized to do this some sort of an activity. And up until now, everybody who helped us with moving boxes got paid well. And that's why maybe Goose does definitely not show up for the money. Definitely not. Because we showed him how to make money. He confirmed our practice that works to make money, and he figured out ways to make even more money. So he doesn't show up for the money, definitely not. We also doesn't show up for the money. But he's grateful to get something for the time, for the effort. And then there is Stinky. Stinky shows up every month, every 2 months, or most of the time when it's holidays. Fair enough. But he wouldn't be considered to be some sort of a constant member that we can plan an activity for a weekend, for example. And there is another guy. We see him playing video games quite a lot on Discord, but we don't have much interaction in Star System. Yeah, Goose shows up every now and then. We shows up every now and then. And Stinky, yeah, of course, as well. And with that crew, and no matter, yeah, but with that small crew, we should... Yeah, that is the reason why we didn't push organization, because we are by definition no organization. And even when we would organize something, people wouldn't show up, because most of those guys we just mentioned are not the type of organization. Exception, Goose. Yeah, Goose is an exception. But he's in another org, the org that we participated in. He is an org. And that org is a proper org. No idea how he got paid or what he get out of it, but that is not our business, basically. Yeah, we will be right back.
Water fuel is at 75%. Quantum fuel is at 50%. Quantum drive is now off.
Yeah, that is something really weird that happened. So we spent some time in PTU to test out the Asgard. Not the Asgard, we fly the Asgard. To test out the Paladin. And with that came CrimeStat with that testing. And for some weird reason now we have CrimeStat here in PU. As if some aspects of your character is interlinked between PU and PTU. And that would even confirm what Sacks of Wine from SC Haulers noticed. Every time when they open up PTU for everybody, performance and stability on PU decreases massively. And that would be because the systems run on the same hardware. So after the jump we will go to Crew L4 to unload Sunset Berries refuel. Then we would go to Hurston to get rid of the fresh food. Then we go to Seraphim and bring the rest. We need to do that way so that we can probably we haven't set our respawn point to arbitrary, and actually we do not want to find that out. So that would mean we will, as soon as the fresh food is out of the ship, we will bring all the boxes on the grid and sell everything on Seraphim. And then we will take probably the wolf and fly back to arbitrary. Claim the Asgard, go down to Shepherd's Rest, buy new boxes, and bring that up to arbitrary and fill it up with the rest what's on arbitrary. And because we need to go to arbitrary, maybe we should go back to arbitrary first before we go to Shepherd's Rest, just to figure out how many boxes we actually can buy. Not that we buy too much. To fill up the Asgard once and fly back, and then it's done. Yeah, because we didn't expect it doing that. That's why we didn't set our respawn point to arbitrary. Interestingly, we didn't do much. Yeah, we just emptied the warehouse at Shepherd's Rest, flew over here, and now it's 45 minutes done. Oh.
Landing pad assigned.
Shields online.
Yeah, station turrets, our worst enemy.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Yeah, one thing that we already tested out with the Paladin is we can exchange the missiles. And with the Paladin we figured out how the missile racks work. The concept of it. And that made us thinking, can we do the same with the Asgard? Because the Paladin, for example, has 8 racks. And you can exchange the default rack with 8 missiles? No, 6? 6 racks. 6 missile racks. Yeah, Paladin has 6 missile racks, and we can choose a rack that has 8 missiles, 8 S1 missiles. That is 48 missiles available. Yes, of course, they are S1 size, not that big. But Dodge 46 missiles.
You are clear to launch. You are clear to launch.
Online. Bottom fuel is at 100%. Takeoff complete.
Yeah, S1 doesn't do much damage. But if we find the right ones, like the Rattlers are...
Please visit again.
Where do we go? Hadley, Pinewood, Stanhope? Or we can go for the Rattlers. Add a missile rack that would give us the Rattler. And we thought the Rattler is infrared. Yeah, what we want to show you is our YouTube channel. We have on our YouTube channels 2 new videos uploaded. So one thing is, oh no, wrong. Yeah. So these two videos, CCU chain after CitizenCon and converting your ship fleet after CitizenCon. If you want to have a check into that, here we go relatively deep into CCU chaining, war bonds, lifetime insurance. Yeah, the first one is quite long, 50 minutes, but we have timestamp, so you can hop to the stuff, to the specific topic you want to go. And that we have on both videos, so you can jump to the marker. But the comments we got is from our shorts. We have some shorts here every now and then, and here we can see the Stinger space whaling 600 views, Paladin 3000 views, and the Sheaf 600 views. A ship like the Sheaf we have absolutely no use for. If we would spend 145 IRL, then we would have a ship like the Sheaf we have absolutely no use for. It's of course completely out of context when you just see this like this. A ship. We talk about virtual spaceship, but it would be. We talk about if we would. We talk, but it would be cool to fly with this thing. But to spend 200 and more for the ship without having a white paint, no. But it would be cool. We talk about virtual spaceships, and these prices are high for virtual spaceships. So you also have 3 paint pack, and we see here this Galahad, and we go for this one, the white one. Yeah.
Quantum drive is now up.
Stand up. It's raining. Yeah, rain. Okay. Rather raining than snowing.
Landing gear deployed.
Yeah, this is something interesting.
All systems offline.
There is an old wizard of video game making. Tim is his name. And he was talking about implementing raining and snowing and whatnot into a video game. And he says if it adds something to the game that has purpose, then why not? And the question is, what purpose has the rain in Star Citizen other than looking good? So should be 7 boxes of fresh food. Six, 7. Okay, fits perfectly. Yeah, what we also noticed, was it PTU or was it here in PU? I think in both. Now you can enter a ship that is not yours here in this some sort of armistice zone. And that is something that they turned off while resource drive stuff. And that is interesting, yeah. Resource drive was some sort of an event that's supposed to bring all the players into that some sort of gameplay of... Yeah, and then they complained, yeah, the weaklings complained about the pirates, the griefers and whatnot, that you cannot do even contracts, yeah, and that griefers, and that is the nature of a griefer, making sure that your gameplay is difficult, that you have to suffer. And when you attack players doing contracts, to pretend that they can achieve something. It's not about the gameplay, that they can achieve something. What does that tell us about the griefers, right? Ooh, we should have bring more. And because of that griefers and all the other softies, they activated, yeah. There is a function that is there. They activated that when you go into a ship that is not yours inside armistice zone, you will be teleported out of the ship. And that teleportation is now deactivated, so you will not get teleported if you enter a foreign ship. And what does that tell us about the community? The community, the players. And what does that tell us about CIG, yeah? And if it goes to game development, yeah, we do not claim that Star Citizen developed a video game. But assuming CIG would do that, and they react on the player feedback in that way, then we would say Star Citizen is doomed as a game, as a project already. And you may wonder why we even talk like this. But the reason why we talk like this is we lost millions to griefers, to pirates. Hard-earned Alpha UEC money lost to pirates. And if they would have activated this teleportation thing, we wouldn't have lost that much money. But for some rookies who don't know how to deal with pirates, who do not know how to deal with grievers, when they start complaining, CIG activates the easy mode for those soft-hearted PvEers. And yeah, PvE and PvP is a term that is heavily debated, and we gotta say we are PvPer. But that we have a problem with that V in between. Player versus player, player versus environment. We are not against the environment. No, we work with the environment. But there are hardly find player that you can play with them and not against them. That is, for us at least, the main reason why we prefer PvE instead of PvP. And we wouldn't be an actual PvE. Like we said, we are more with them, not against them. And we do every now and then some mercenary card trades, just for the sake of playing the game. Alright.
Quantum fuel is at 50%. Quantum drive is now off.
Flew directly through the planet. Station turrets. Be aware of the station turrets. So we wouldn't say that we landed properly, right? Ship is not completely on the pad. When we would store the ship inside the hangar, the animation would show us something we do not like to see, especially when we want to keep this ship. And here we could say we do not want to keep the ship, but we also do not want to lose it, because we will sell directly out of this ship. And so in order to be able to sell the stuff directly from the ship, the boxes need to be on the grid. To make it work reliable, the boxes need to be on the grid. And we have too many boxes, so not all the boxes fit onto the grid. That means we need to put those boxes onto the elevator and lower it, while the rest can remain inside the ship. So probably the price here for Technos root at Seraphim is lower than at QL4. But in order to not to waste more money, more time, we are gonna send it here. Should be the last box. The grid is damaged even here at Seraphim. Alright, so we have all the boxes off-gridded into the elevator, 52 SCUs, and when you look at the ship, it's not parked properly. That means if we would lower the elevator from here, or the hangar pad, store the ship from here, then the animation would show us something we do not like to see. And so we do not store the ship from the inside, but the goal would be that we can sell the commodities that remain in the ship on the grid, that we can sell it directly out of the ship. And in order to do that, you need to store the ship. And as you can see, the ship is still there, the marker is still there. And what we do is we store the ship from the ASUS terminals down here. So you see the ship here, still here. You store the ship, turn around, ship is gone immediately. No animation, no time, no blinking lights, nothing. Ship is stored immediately, and it doesn't even matter how you parked your ship. And of course, we didn't hit the reply button, so we need to talk about that. So when you store the ship from the ASUS terminals, like we just did, the ship stores immediately. No waiting time, no blinking lights, no animation, nothing. You can even park like an unskilled pilot, and the commodities will be able to be sold directly out of the ship. We go here, local market, you see everything is out of stocks and nobody delivers anything to Seraphim. We select the ship, and here we see 128 SUs inside the ship. We click on sell, almost 1 mil. Takes 2 minutes. Diagnose route 800k. Takes also 2 minutes and 1 mil. Here you see Golden Madman here at Seraphim gives us the most money. Alright, so ship is done, and now we go to Seraphim station to sell the stuff that we have on the elevator. Alright, and as you can see, we are now above 90 mil again. Not much, almost 91. And with the fresh sunset berries at, yeah, that would work. So now we could sell everything directly out of the ship, and we didn't store the ship from the hangar. We stored the ship from the ASUS terminals. So now we could say, luckily, oh look at Vicolo armor. Luckily, we had the reclaimer, and when you see it, we would need to wait 4 minutes. We don't have wait. We don't have time for wait. Redeemer. Okay, this is the Redeemer. Also looks like a fish. There's a lot of guns. Yeah, now we definitely noticed what the class the paladin is in. They have clean pads. That is nice.
Aegis combat system activated. Systems green.
Okay, these 2 front guns. 4 guns.
Launch complete. Shields offline. Landing. Shields online.
This is interesting. There are 2 types of shields. That will be unnecessarily complex soon. This is the heat. Quantum drive can start to overheat. That will be... Look, we can look around without slowing down anymore.
Shields offline. Landing gear deployed.
Alright, so this will be it for today. You know the spiel. Fuel tank is quite low.
Landing gear rejected.
1.78. Yeah, we will go back. Shepherd's Rest. Obituary. And have a sleep over there. But we do not show that here on the stream. We will finish this for tonight. Thanks for watching.